Let's have a look at creating lots and labeling the lots. Okay, so typically each lot is given a number and you show the area of the lot. And that's very typical to do. Lots are called parcels in Civil 3D. So to label these things, what you want to do, first thing I would do would be to clear up any information that's on the inside of the lots, because that can get in the way of the labeling. So I would freeze some of these layers. So for instance, I'll freeze those points to get them out of there. And then notice that I've also got the labels. I want to get those out of there too. So when I list that out and see what I've got, that's on the C-ano layer from my list command. I can see that. So what I'll do is I'll go here to C-ano, that layer, and I'll freeze that, and that should get those labels out of the way. All right, now what you want to do is create a closed polyline within your lot. So that'd be the first thing to do. So I'd go onto the junk layer, which I just have, Perry calls it construction in his classes, whatever you call it. I mean, I would go on to just some construction type layer. And then what I would do next is use what's the bpoly command, B-O-P-L-Y. That creates a closed polyline within an enclosed area. Pick points, and then just pick a point inside the areas you want to turn into lots, like that. And so what that does, that created a bunch of closed polylines inside of those lots. Now, if you have any problems with your geometry, any little gaps or anything, that command will blow up on you. And so what you can do is try and clean up your geometry, perhaps maybe do some fillets with a 0 radius, and then come back and try the bpoly again. Now, if you can't, and if that won't work, what I would do would be to, let's just demonstrate this a little bit. I'll get this lot out of the way. Let's say for some reason I couldn't get this lot to close. All right, and actually I'm going to do this other one here, I think, instead. All right, now what I can do to create a closed P-line in there is if I can't get the bpoly command to work and I couldn't fix it, what I can do is just draw a polyline manually and close it with the C command. Okay, so I'll go P-line, and then I'll just use O-snaps and I'll run around this boundary. Now start at a point where you can come back and close on a straight line. It's just easier to do it that way. So I'll start up here, and then I'll just run around this lot boundary using O-snaps. Now notice when I'm on this cul-de-sac, I'm going to have to use the arc option. And then it wants a second point, so I'll give it S for second, and then I'll use a nearest object snap, and I'll pick a point on there. And then it wants the third point on the arc, so I'll pick this point right here. Okay. Now what I need to do is I need to get back into a line, so I'll go L, enter, and then I'll pick the intersection up here. And then just to ensure closure, I'll use the C option for close. All right, so that gets me, that is, definitely a closed polyline now, so there's no doubts about that, okay? Now, the one thing on that, when you do that, just be sure you close on a straight line. It's hard to close on an arc using that option, so I just be sure that I pick a point. When I come around the lot, I'll close on a straight line, okay? All right, so that's what you could do if you have any trouble with your closure on the bpoly command. Of course, the bpoly command is a lot easier to use than what I just did. So I'll put this thing back where it belongs. So what I've got now, I've got closed polylines on the construction layer that are all on all the lots now. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and freeze the layers that are underneath my junk layer, under my construction layer. That's the property line layer. I don't want to be picking that, because what's going to happen when I pick these is it's going to actually erase the entity it uses to create the lots. So I want to have these lots set up on a junk layer because they're going to go away anyway. So I want to be sure that's the only layer present so that I'm not picking something that I don't want to eventually have go away. All right, that's the idea. Okay, so now that I've got that drawn, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Home and I'm going to go to Parcels. Parcel is another word for a lot. And I'm just going to go create parcels from objects. Okay, now these are going to be numbered, so you want to pick the lots in the order that you want them numbered. The other thing you want to be sure you do is pick the lots at a place where they don't share a property line with another lot, because it gets ambiguous which lot you're picking if you pick a common line right there, say. Okay, that could go for that lot to the south, but it could also pick the one to the north. So I'll pick a place where there's just a line for the lot I want to pick. So I'm going to start here. For that second lot, I'll pick this line because that's unambiguous. That will be the second lot, and then the third lot, I'll pick that one. Okay. And after you've picked them, you hit Enter, and you'll get a dialog box. Okay, Site 1 is fine. These are properties, so we'll leave the parcel style as property. Now the label, I'm going to pull that down, and normally what we want is the name, number, and area in square feet is usually what we want. So I'll pick that as my style. I'll exist the existing entities. I'll leave that checked, and then I'll hit OK, and there go the labels right in there. Now those labels are a little bit big. I can adjust the size of those if I need to. So, but that's basically how you label lots. Okay.